welcome to Ascension with Psychic Lily. This is a weekly podcast show focusing on various spiritual topics, art, music, and its focus is on well-being. Today's special guest is Gillian Cook. She is a Latin American ballroom dancing champion, life coach and psychic. Hello, Jill. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us what you do.
Right. Well, my actual main career for most of my life has been a dancer. I was a painfully shy child, and at the age of 18 months, my mother took me to ballet classes just so that I could become more confident, really, because I was quite shy and quite timid. So I found dancing absolutely wonderful. It was very therapeutic. I loved it. I've traveled all around the world. I've competed, I've coached, I've trained, I've mentored. It's such I've just had a fantastic life, but obviously I can't do that anymore as I'm a little bit too old to compete now. But it was a fantastic life, and I've learned an awful lot from it, especially about me, which was wonderful. And that's why I do, and one of the things I do love is building up people's confidence. This is something that I did all the way through the dancing career. I'd have very insecure people coming in, people who've been on drugs, which was interesting, people who are incredibly sick, and they just started, they came in for whatever reason, normally dragged by the hair, and they stayed, and they came off drugs. They got help, professional help, with their orders, whichever orders they were, and yes, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And as I said, it was interesting because I could understand where they were coming through, because some of the stuff that was actually translatable over to me. So it was.
You're not just a dance. You weren't just a dance trainer. You were also a life coach. You were blending the two through life, and you didn't even realize you were doing it. It was just natural.
Yes, it was, and it's lovely to see people walk out and they're happy, and they're confident, and yeah, it was beautiful, and it did give me that feeling of satisfying feeling. It was beautiful. It was it was really good.
That's fantastic. Yeah. How does dancing improve people's well-being?
Well, it does. Yeah, well, dancing or singing or painting, anything that's artistic has actually helped. It's a form of meditation. So I can't meditate for love nor money, and I find it so much easier to either sing, which is I wouldn't suggest you ever hear me sing, or dance. It was becoming one with the body. So it's you learn about all your emotions, because you've got 4 bodies. You've got a physical body, emotional body, a mental body, and a spiritual body. Okay. And it's trying to get all those 4 working together. It's all those 4 getting to work together. So dancing was actually good because it took you into a meditative state, which was very therapeutic. And it's something that you can do without. I was doing 2 things. I was meditating and training at the same time, or performing or teaching or whatever at the same time, because I was bringing whatever issues I had through the dance. I wasn't verbally.
So some people won't have all the 4 together, the 4 bodies together, and if it's out of sync, that's when well-being and health and different things start happening, mental health problem, different things. So dancing actually is one of the things you're saying, it brings it all together in sync.
Yeah, because whatever is the weakness actually becomes the strength.
Okay, that's
because whatever is working will work. Whatever's not working has to be pulled up and pulled out of you. And if you're happy and confident or secure in yourself, then you're doing it by yourself, whether it's through meditation or through dancing, singing, whatever, you're in control. And the thing is that when people are, what I found is when people are insecure, and this is also about me, when I was insecure, I didn't want anybody to know. and I didn't want anybody to see my weaknesses, but that's the type of person I am. But the thing is, it's through dance or through meditation, well, through me really. For when I was doing it for me, it was through dance, and for my clients, it was through dance. And we just got their confidence levels up, their anything that was, if they were feeling, I don't know, unworthy or not belonging or whatever it is that they were feeling, we used to bring that up and actually bring it out into the dance.
Mm-hmm.
So we utilised all their emotions to perform, and they got quite good results because they were being true.
Okay. And the
just like method acting.
The different dancers involve different, they'll require different emotions, because there's 10, isn't it? You specialised in, you're a 10 dancer, not just Latin, or just ballroom. Did 10 dance?
Yes, I did. I competed in 10 dances, yes.
So that just go through them just to say what they are for the viewers.
So there was the 10 dances are waltz, foxtrot, quick step, Viennese waltz and tango in the ballroom section, and you've got cha-cha, samba, rumba, paso and jive in the Latin.
Mm-hmm.
And all these musics have different emotions, so whatever emotion that you were feeling at the time, you would just if you were feeling angry, you would pick a dance where you're thinking, okay, I'm feeling quite angry, I'm going to put my energy into this, release the energy through the dance, and you came out of the other side exhausted and quite satisfied and calm. If you were going through if you were feeling I don't know, a lot softer, or you wanted to escape, you could go for one of the softer dances like waltzes or rumba, foxtrot. You could take that out. So you when you're dancing, you see an image in your mind that you wanted to portray. So if I wanted to literally zone out, I would dance something which would remind me of the wind going over grass, grass. So it gave that rippling effect. So I had that nice calm rippling effect, the same way as if you throw a stone into the water, you get those ripples, just to do that. So it sort of brought the emotion to the image and the emotion together.
What was interesting is when I had a chat with you earlier, you were saying about that a relationship, a human relationship, let's say a romantic relationship, is very similar to the 5 Latin dancers. So samba, you say it's like a story. Can you explain that to the viewers? Because that was brilliant. It's showing you the story of love. Can you explain that again?
Okay. So love comes in different forms. If we're talking about love, it comes from that where you actually, the first initial excitement of meeting somebody, to that type where you just are so angry with them and whatever. So we have 4 or 5 dances, and so if you're thinking samba is very much a party dance. So to me, that's that feeling of that initial excitement of meeting somebody for that very first time, because you're all on edge, or not edge as in a bad way, but you're all excited. So you've got that body moving and you're getting to go. The second dance is the cha-cha, which is a very cheeky dance. It's one of those things that's sort of very flirty. So these are, to me, the 2 stages that we go through. Then you have then it's danced in the competitions. It's then danced as rumba, which is the typical love dance where it's all nice and gooey and it's beautiful and warm. It's lovely. Then we go to paso doble, which is it's supposed to be the story of the fight, the matador, and in the ballroom. So there you can obviously find there's a lot of energies going through there, lots of skills, not necessarily violent skills, well, it result in a ballroom kiss, but it's that feeling of that hard energy. And then the jive, which is quite an energetic dance, is actually just a way of releasing all that pent-up energy from the anger. So you've got your 5 stages of your love. You've got that the first initial eye contact, the start of flirting, the actual beautiful romantic part of the love part. Then you have that point in your life, and if you never get to this point where you're actually wanting to, you're fighting. If you haven't got to that point, well done, congratulations. But most people do. And then after that, you have the makeup. You either make up or you celebrate, but either way, it's a celebration. And that's really where the dancing's coming through. And when you're if you're in a romantic relationship and you're dancing, you can utilize that. And you can also utilize those energies in your private life, not necessarily in your romantic life, but in your interaction with other people, so that you can get the best out of you.
And that leads us to the body confidence, doesn't it? And that's what you teach, the body confidence. So how does your coaching, tell us a bit about the body confidence coaching and how it will help people, because you'll explain how you're actually going to be doing some workshops, aren't you, as well?
I am indeed. Yes, I am indeed, in the summer. Yes. So the thing is that when you're meeting somebody for the first time, the very first thing is they have this awareness of your energy, and if you're feeling insecure or people can sense it. It's a very animalistic thing, so we can sense it. But just changing your body, you can look this up on YouTube as well when you've got the photographs, when you're doing photography. The thing is at the end of the day, what you're dealing with are your muscles. And the thing is, it's your muscles that give you an energy. So just changing a muscle grouping will actually create a different type of energy. So if you wanted to be, if you wanted to get lost into the atmosphere, then if you're in a room and you want to get lost, then what you do is you take all your energy away, and what you do is you allow all your muscles to relax and become invisible.
Okay,
whereas
so
if you're
a chameleon, isn't it, with dancing, a chameleon of dance, you can change your persona, your body language.
And if you're wanting to if you want to be be a little bit stronger, so somebody's attacking you, then you just change your angles of your body. And what happens is you change the angles of your body, different muscles will start to come into action, and they will create a different tone in your voice, a different look in your voice, different look in your face, beg your pardon, or your body persona. It just changes. I mean, I went to an event, and I was with a friend, and I had these two beautiful young ladies come up. Now, he was a very wealthy man, and they just came up to me because they were interested in him, obviously. And they came up to me, and they started with a very snooty look on their face. They started to look me up and down.
Oh, that's very rude.
I was twice their age, and it was so funny. So as their eyes were, they were beautiful. They were really stunning little young ladies. And as they brought their eyes down, I just very subtly changed my body without them actually becoming aware, because I can move my muscles quite easily. And they were with a male friend as well. And by the time they came back up to my face, I changed, and I had this smile on my face. It was so sort of smile when I started, but the energies in the face were slightly different, and they looked like they had an electric shock. It was so funny. They were just doing this. The gentleman beside them, was actually watching me while they were eyeing me up and down, and he started to laugh because he saw exactly what I did. They didn't, because they weren't aware. Why would they? They just wanted to make me feel a little bit intimidated, because it was to say they were beautiful, beautiful women, and they really were after my friend. I mean, they could have had him. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a problem, but but it was funny. So just changing something very slightly in your body can change the whole atmosphere around. And I've had clients, again, they've been in the business people, and they've been in meetings, and especially being female, they were spoken over. Gosh. They were and the last thing was they were actually chairing the meeting. But we'd been talking the day before about her relationship with her partner, and we'd done some exercises, and she took them in, and she said, I did it very subtly, and she said the energy around the table changed, and the person who was talking had to stop. Now this person stopped, and at the end of the meeting, people came up to her and they said to her, we're not sure what you did, but it was interesting to see how you got back the room, without saying anything. And the person who actually did interrupt and made a bit of was throwing their toys out of their pram. They came up to her afterwards and apologized.
God, and what body language did she do? How did she change it? What did she do?
Well, I wasn't physically there, but I'd given her some exercises, and obviously she'd changed something in her, she'd worked something in her body to make it more, to make her become more energetic. But it was the energy that was projected, the energy that she projected. And this is down to muscles. This is all down to using your muscles. So being a dancer, as you danced yourself in the past, you use your muscles to create an image. And that image is, well, whatever you want to do, whether you want to be happy, cheeky, flirty, dominant, submissive, whatever it is that you need to do to get you through that stage. Some people call it imposter syndrome. Some people just say it's getting to learn who I am.
Interesting stuff. Yes, fascinating. And out of interest, what was can you show us what you actually did in your body? Can you show us the before and after, you saying at that party with the gentleman? So we can see before and after, how you changed your I don't know if we might need to sit up so we can see your shoulders a bit more.
Oh, right. Sorry, I just
that's perfect. It's a lovely colour top as well.
Oh, thank you very much. So what it was is that I was standing there, actually quite just standing there normally, just as I am sitting here now. Being a dancer, I do have good posture. So I was standing there, and all of a sudden, I just did that. Now, did you actually see what I've done?
Can you do it again? I just missed it. Right, go
on. So the thing is it's actually been quite subtle. So all I'm doing is that I've done it on the other side this time. So what happens is now just doing one little action.
It's more stronger. Your leg.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's also made my voice change.
Yeah.
So now when
I changed here.
Yeah. So it's actually working the muscles against the different organs.
Different now.
Yeah. Now I've gone back to being quite normal, and it was very, very subtle. Now I saw me do that. I don't know whether you saw me moving, because all I did was move my shoulder.
Yeah.
Yes. All I did was move
I didn't see it very at the shoulder, but I saw the energy around the neck, and it was like almost like a protection, defense. Don't mess with me. You know.
Yeah. And it's very, very simple. It is very, very simple, but it is about learning about your body, what your body can do. Your body is unique to you. It's not the same as mine. So you will get a different result to me in a certain way, because it's also your persona. I mean, if you, I'm quite a strong character. So when I project my energy, I'm going to have a stronger character than somebody. They could be similar, but they may not be. Well, they're definitely not going to be me, but they'll get a different energy. It will be the right amount of energy for them. It may be too weak for me. It may be too strong for me. I don't know, because every person is unique. And this is one of the things that you have to realize. There's only going to ever be one of you. Even if you're a twin, there's only one of you. You've had your experiences. Only you. And you've got to utilize those experiences to give you the confidence, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. So if you've, so I was mugged a couple of decades ago. Yeah, that's fine. I was mugged a couple of decades ago. I was walking down a very busy street, and I sensed that something was wrong, turned around, saw this man behind me, didn't think much of it, and then I thought, yeah, no, there's something wrong. The next thing I knew, he put his shirt over. I mean, I'd already seen his face, so what was the point of that? But he put his shirt over his face, and he came and grabbed me from behind. Now, the thing is I just thought, before he grabbed me, my thought process was, you absolute beep, you're going to beep, 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 mug me. So I just thought, okay, I don't know what he's going to do. But he grabbed me from behind. So all I did was just thought, I just put all my weight into my hips, kicked my legs out, and just fell to the ground. Now, through dancing, you know that if you kick your legs out, the person who's holding you has got to bend with you. So you knew what was going to happen. So then that's fine. He ran off, took my handbag, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the next day I felt, and I went, I mean, obviously I was in shock when the next day I was on the train coming into work, and I thought, I feel very uncomfortable. I feel very uncomfortable having these people with me. So in my lunch break, I went out and I stood in the centre of Oxford Street, which was in those days was incredibly busy. And I would walk up and down the street until I actually felt comfortable with having people around me. But the thing is that experience gave me an energy, and it gave me a learning, i.e. don't walk down the A40 at 11 o'clock at night. But it also gave me an experience of what energy is created, what muscles started to contract. And so that gave me one type of energy that I can actually utilize, but also getting used to the idea of people walking behind me. I could feel my back and my arms all starting to move because these people were getting so close. But after about 2 hours, it was actually fine. I went back to normal. But it was a great learning curve, because I know that if somebody now is, for me to have actually that not to have been any worse, if I'd have been aggressive, I could have got hurt. All he did was steal my handbag.
So it's like dance is actually a form of self-defense. A lot of people have said to me, oh, why don't you go, because I've done trained dancer, so they say, why don't you go and do some self-defense classes? And I always say, oh no, I don't, it's not for me, I'm a dancer. And I always, exactly what you've just said, you use the dancing, you dance around the attacker, don't you? You can use the body language, because it's very similar to martial arts, isn't it?
Well, yes, and the thing is, any martial arts or dancing, the thing is you have an awareness, of your surroundings. And if you have an awareness of your surroundings, then and you can see it and sense, and this is why I said you've got your physical body and you've got your emotional body and you've got your mental body. You can use all these bodies, so you sense. And the thing is, when you dance, you have to have a strong awareness of what's going on around you, because the people are flying in front of you, behind you. You're having to avoid a fist or a leg that's been stuck up in the air or whatever. So you become very aware, and this awareness actually has to make you move to become smaller, or take more space, so you become larger. Even if you're only a size 2 and you're only 4'2", you can still be a giant, because it's about taking the space. It's about knowing who you are, the space that you need to create, whether you need to be a very the thing is confidence isn't necessarily about always being powerful. Sometimes you just need to be quiet. It's like being assertive. You don't have to be aggressive. Assertion isn't aggression. It's just having full respect for yourself, and also having respect and getting the respect of others. But if you respect yourself, you're going to have the respect for others anyway, because if they don't respect you, they don't come into your sphere. So it's all about you and how you portray yourself. And I've also been in situations where I've become very, very quiet, really sucked back into the background, because it was the best thing and I got the best result from it.
So dancing helps us to make good connections between our brain and our body, basically.
Yeah, and your emotions. And
the emotions as well, which are stored in the body or can be expressed through the body language. So it's making those connections. Yeah.
And as long as they are working for you, that's all right. It's when all these emotions and thought process work against you, that's when you have.
And that's when you get illnesses as well, and things in the body, manifests in the body, illnesses and things.
You've always got to make sure, and every experience you've had is for a reason. Every emotion you've had is for a reason. Every feeling you've had is for a reason. Every ache you've had is for a reason. But you've got to know it, utilize it, and then get rid of the energy of that out of your body, so you remain healthy, as you know.
But how do you, if you get somebody that comes to you and they say, oh, I've got this ache or this knee problem, whatever they've got, and it's always there, and they're not really doing anything to get rid of it, or how do you remove their blockages mentally? How do you work with somebody like that?
Well, the thing is, the very first thing I would say, because I'm not a medic, I would turn around and say to them, very first thing, you need to go and see your doctor.
Right.
A doctor. You have to go and see a professional person, somebody who actually specializes in that. So if you've got problems with your hips, you know that there is instability there, normally financial instability. I mean, if you're having trouble with your knees, you're not, sorry?
You'd say go to get medical advice, but then you were able to tell them where you think the emotional root is coming from, as you said. Can you repeat about what you're saying about financial stability, because that's very interesting.
So financial stability is normally, I mean, your back is related to stability. I mean, you can read as many books all over by many authors, and they say that your back is actually for support, which it is, it's your spine. So, and we've always heard you've got the weight on the world on your shoulders. That is actually stress. I think, I can't remember, I have to, you'll have to look this up, but you've got the top of your shoulders and center, which is a different type of stress, and then you've got financial stress, which is normally in your hips.
Really? I didn't know that. Go on.
I think it's in your hips. So the thing is that if you cannot move, that means that you're not stable. So you may not be financially stable, emotionally stable, or whatever, but you'll find that through your back and through your hips. But the thing is if your hips are aching, it means that you're not stable. So you might, I mean, unless it's then that's when you need to go and see a doctor. If you're in pain, you go and see a doctor. If the doctor says to you, no, all your joints are right, there's nothing wrong with you, everything's a-okay, your body is functioning, but you've still got all those aches and pains, and you've been to the doctor and your doctor says no, you're fine, then it is going to be more of an issue of your stresses in your life. And if you need to go and see somebody who is a doctor that deals with your emotions, like a hypnotherapist or a psychiatrist or EFT or any of those techniques, then that's what you go and do. That's what you do, because they are the people. And I've recommended a lot of people to a lot of professionals, mainly because it's not my job.
No, one of the techniques I think you told me about was Bowen technique, that is very useful for hips and pain relief, because some dancers are trained in the wrong way, aren't they? They have the training and they get lots of, which is what happened to me a decade ago. And then now I'm fine. But with I had Bowen technique, and it released all the tension in the hips and spine. So that's it.
No, I know about Bowen technique because I'm actually a Bowen therapist.
You're the practitioner.
A practitioner, yeah. It's what it does is it releases all the pressures around the muscles, and it just basically fans the muscles out, so that you're releasing all the, as I say, the muscles, the knots that are holding onto the nerves or the tendons or wherever. So it is actually a very good technique. So I do know a lot of people. So if somebody's got a problem, I will recommend someone, but please do your own research. I would always say do your own research. But yeah, you're right. People in dancing, I was trained badly, and this is why I know about all these techniques, a lot of techniques, because I've experienced them. I was trained badly, and that's why my clients, I've never had a client when they listened to me. I've only had one that didn't listen to me, and they did hurt themselves. But and that was not on my watch, somewhere else. But none of my students have ever hurt themselves. Not one of them's come in with saying my back aches. And if they do come in, or say my arm aches, I would say, what did you do? And if it was through dancing, then we would address it straight away.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry. Sorry. So I would address it straight away.
We're losing you. Just tilt your camera so we can see more of you.
Sorry.
Perfect. Would you say that the technique, the best technique for anything, not just in dancing or in anything, is to pull up? Everything needs to be pulled up.
Yes, because the thing is you want to make sure that your bones are always resting on bones. So the best exercise for that is deep breathing.
Okay, that's right.
That is the best exercise for because you're using your body to help you. I mean, if you need to, if it's very serious, say go to your doctor. But basically, breathing, learning how to breathe properly is vitally important. Where you learn that through dancing, you learn that through singing, you learn that through martial arts, you learn that through any physicality, hobby, job, whatever. So you have to learn. The most important thing is you know your body. You have to know your body. You were given this body by your parents, whether you like them or not is irrelevant. They gave you this body to come into this world, and it's your responsibility to look after it. Nobody else's responsibility, your responsibility to look after it. So you've got this beautiful, amazing being, this body that's absolutely unique. There's nobody else with the same body than you. It's absolutely stunning. You've got this beautiful personality inside you who is, some people call it your inner child, some people call it your ego, it can be called whatever you like. This beautiful being inside you, encased inside you, that beautiful, and that needs to also be projected and out, because everybody wants to see that. If you've been hurt and you've been battered, yes, you do hide inside, and this is where you can lose your confidence. But again, you can utilize that energy to say, okay, this is what I have, this is where I am, I don't like where I am, these are the problems. And it's about understanding the good parts of you and what you think are the good parts and what you think are the bad parts. And if they are working in unison with each other and they're being supported by each other, you will be fine. When these energies are not equal, that's when you have, for me, that's when you have problems. And that's my experiences. And I'm talking about me personally now, when I love who I am. I am absolutely amazed. I love my parents for making me who I am. I love who I have become, from that shy little child to somebody who stands out in front of thousands of people and talks. Mm-hmm. So I love who I am, but that comes from my experiences. But I have had periods where it's not worked out, and to protect me, my what I would call it a dark side. We'll call it a dark side, or an ego, has come forward to protect me. And all the good little bits about me, the kind, caring bits, were pushed back because I felt I was being attacked. But that didn't help me. What I had to do is I had to realign to make sure that my good bits, as I see them, and my bad bits, as I see them, are placed in the right positions so that I can then be me, Gillian.
The best version of you.
The best version of me, yes. Well, that sounded a bit arrogant, but yes, it is the best version of me.
And leading on to that, this is what I wanted to ask, because you're a bit of an expert on this topic. I just briefly go to just mention the eclipse. We've got it's a bit of astrology. We've got a total lunar eclipse on the 16th of May. And this is quite a biggie. And if you look in the sky, the moon will actually be like it will have a reddish tint to it. So it's a very beautiful full moon. This is on the 16th of May coming up. And this is all about endings, new beginnings, and sort of clearing what's been, old patterns with relationships, old styles of relationships, and it's going to open the door to new things. So linking on to that was about the different types of relationships we have, different personality traits, and the attachment. So it was about, the attachment theory. I think you're very good. You seem to know a lot about it. So just to go through the different, because you were talking about being the best, people need to be the best version of them and accept the personality type they've got. So what are the different styles of attachment, and how can people become more secure in relationships, friendships, family, love relationships?
Right. Okay. Well, there are many experts out there. There are many experts out there who are not experts out there. I'm going to take it from my perspective and from my learnings that I've gone through with my courses. So there are different people, there are different types of people that we have. So we have people that are codependent, which means that they have to be in a relationship. They have to be in a relationship. And if they don't have a relationship, they don't feel like they are totally complete. And we've heard that from films from the past. I want to meet my other half. Well, if you actually were in love with yourself, your other half is just going to enhance you. So if you enhance you, not actually fill a hole that is missing in you. Yeah. So if you're now taking, so if you think of you as a donut.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a cookie or a donut with a chunk.
It's a cookie or a donut, yeah. So if you think of your partner as if you think of yourself as a donut and you're wanting a partner to fill that hole with their personality or their energies or whatever you think that's missing in your life, they can do that. But then the thing is what happens is that they're going to suck out and disappear through the other side, because it's not their job to make you a whole person. But the thing is if you are codependent and you have a relationship with another codependent person and you are happy, why worry? Yeah. Why worry about things that are not going to happen? So the thing is that codependency does mean that and this is not the because there's five forms of love. There's 5 ways of displaying love.
Can you go through the 5 forms for us?
Yeah, there are. There is physical love, where it's very tactile. There are the acts of service, where somebody will, I don't know, pick you up from the tube station or take the rubbish out without even asking, bring you a coffee without you even asking. So that's the act of love. Receiving gifts, obviously, they are displayed by you getting a pair of earrings or a watch or a wallet or a pair of boots. That's another form of types of love. You have the words of affection, where it's like, oh, darling this and darling that, or sweetheart, and that's absolutely fine, because I love to be called sweetheart. That's not my main driver, but I do like that. And there's undivided attention, which means that you're on that other person's mind all the time. Now, in my life and my experiences through myself and through people I know, we have these 5, and if I am very much I'm very tactile. So my act of love is I touch. So that's it. But I've also had one of my exes was very much he needed me to constantly tell him how lovely he was, and I had to phone him all the time, or he'd phone me, and to me that was irritating. But but the thing is so we sort of, the reason why we're exes, so it didn't really work. But the thing is but I was younger. But if I had known that was the way he wanted to be shown love, I would have done it. I would have done it, because he was a lovely guy. I would have done it, but I didn't know. So the thing is that when you're in a relationship, you've got to work out, what do you want? And this is something people don't talk about. I mean, I always turn around in my relationships and say, right, this is how I display love. How do you display it?
And there's different types. So you're saying there was codependent, yes. I think avoidant, anxious avoidant, I think is one, secure, and addiction. Is that right?
All right. Yeah, they're different forms. Yeah. So that's the personality traits of you. So if you're quite an aloof character, you just don't want to. So you have all these different types of. I've lost the thread of where I was going there. So you have all these different types.
So Jill, I'm just going to ask, you can explain to the viewers, if somebody is codependent in their friendships or relationships, how can they become more secure?
If you're codependent, that is something that your wound has actually made you who that you are. But at the end of the day, so if you're codependent, that means that if you think of yourself like a crescent, and you want to be around, you have to find another crescent to fulfill you, to make you a whole person. The thing, and that's absolutely fine. So if you find two people that are like that, wonderful. And if you're happy there, fantastic. You don't need to do anything. But at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable and confident in who you are. And then even if you're codependent, and you would still become a more secure person, because it's all about you. The most important person in this world is you. No one else, you. You are the most important, unless you've got Gillians. But even then, you are still the most important person, because if you go down, everybody else goes down. So if you can make sure that you actually have the belief in yourself, whatever belief system you have is wonderful, make it work for you. Fall in love with that belief system, make it work for you, and you will be fine. You will be secure, because you will know who you are, your good bits and your bad bits, which we all have good sides and bad sides, but let them both work hand in hand, because they're both needed.
Can you give any sort of self-healing techniques? So not an actual exercise, but a mental or psychological self-healing, so that people can become less codependent, because you said it was the wound, could be childhood wounds that cause it. Yeah, well,
the thing is 80% of anything will work on everybody. So there's 20% of the population that whatever I give will not, or anybody gives, will not work on them. The best thing to do is find out really what would work best for you, whether it is going to get either medical help or spiritual help, or it's what works best for you. So there isn't any real one exercise that I could actually give.
You said about the 4 bodies, so maybe that people need to address something for each of the 4 bodies.
Well, the 4 bodies, I mean, you've got to, which one, you've got to work out firstly which one is not working properly, or which one is being the dominant one. So if you're thinking like you're too much into your emotions and the other ones are being subsided, you've got to actually then find ways of getting the other bodies to become equal partners, because it's all about equality. It's all about equality in you. So if you've got one part of your anatomy that's feeling a little bit lost, then the others are actually taking over. Or if one is becoming too dominant, then that's also a major problem, because you've got to live in harmony with your own body. So there are, if it's an emotional thing, maybe you need to go and learn to sing or to act or to dance. If it's a mental thing, maybe you need to go out and go into the woods, and I don't know. It really does depend on the individual themselves. Only you know what is right.
Daytime, Jill, in daytime in the woods, right? You don't want to be doing that at dark.
No. Be safe, yes. We don't want any more mishaps going on. No, it's again, if you're a very physical person and that's the one that's dominating you, just let one of the others come through. How you can balance yourself, because it's true balance that actually makes you comfortable with who you are
and secure.
Secure, because if you're confident, if you're confident in all your bodies, then you're fine. But if one is slightly lacking, it can lack just a little bit, because we're human, and that's natural. We've got all having experiences, and we're all living through interesting times, as people say. But you just find whatever is the weakness, you need to say, okay, let's find a lovely way to make this good. I mean, at one point I started singing just because I felt like I needed to. Not the best thing in the world to do, not with me. Does sound like a cat going down glass. It's disgusting. But I tell you one thing, it did help. But the thing is, it's actually just realigning.
That's the throat releasing communication.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was one. I don't want to go too much into the chakras, etc., but because there's better people than I can talk about that. But it is about finding where your weakness is and getting and falling in love with it and making it feel strong.
Okay, and finally, Jill, can you give us a little mini exercise to improve our body language for the viewers at home? Something we can all do.
Well, it depends on the circumstances. If you're feeling, the one thing that's really important is with body language is that you actually fill your own space.
Maybe something with the shoulders.
Something with the shoulders. Oh, well, that's easy. I mean, just breathe in, roll your shoulders round and down, and then just take one shoulder back, and then that will actually change the whole atmosphere. It will change the atmosphere around you. It will change your look. It will change the way that you talk. If I bring my shoulder forward, you can hear my voice has changed. I bring it back, you can automatically hear it change. If you're looking at my body, if I'm looking straight ahead, I don't know what I'm looking at, but the thing is if I take my shoulder back, you can see how my body's just changed just by doing something very simple.
So this can be used for a job interview or public speaking, or if somebody has to meet somebody.
Well, yes, I mean it's a basic
shoulders.
Just shoulders back. I mean, that's what my mother used to nag at me when I was a kid, stand up, shoulders back. A lot of my generation were nagged at stand up, shoulders back. But it's that feeling of just feeling that you can be seen and you can be present. I mean, if you're
why one? Oh yes, we don't want to be like that, but yeah, so, why one shoulder and not both shoulders back? Can you just explain to us?
Well, the thing is if you can bring both shoulders back if you want, but the thing is that now gives you a fighting pose.
Okay.
But if you actually just bring one shoulder back, it just gives you a feeling of challenge.
Wow. Okay, that's very useful. Okay, and we don't want, no one wants to be down here.
No, that's not very good for you.
No, because that, especially if you're on the computer.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be you don't want to be hunched, because that's also going to affect your health. So if you're leaning forward, you're going to compress into your chest, which is not going to be good for you, or you can have back problems, hip problems, etc. So yeah, you always want to think about good posture all the time. Make sure that you're always thinking about standing tall.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Gillian Cook, for joining us on today's podcast. Hope you can invite you back onto the show at some point in the near future to talk about more topics. Would you like that? Or?
I would love that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, viewers at home, for watching Ascension with Psychic Lily. And until the next time, it's bye for now. Thank you.